Well, he's on this network as well.
Yeah.
Why did you send it to Koshi?
They did a little cover on like kind of innovative products in the morning.
Right.
And then we just sent some over like.
Love it.
Yeah.
So I'm doing Facebook Live, Rexy. That's cool.
Yeah. Cool.
That guy there, he's Rex, and he is crowdfunding genius with Orbit Key, which is what we're about to talk about, that thing. There it is there. So, but are your phone off?
Double check. It should be.
That's probably a good thing to start with. Mine's probably on. Mike, there, probably don't lean back, but you don't need to lean right into it. Am I coming up okay? I've got mine on a bit of a twist. Yeah, you don't need to lean right in, but if you see me doing that, just means come into it a bit more. You're too far away there, so come on in.
Yep.
Andy, do you want to give any guidance there?
I mean, if you're more comfortable sitting back a bit, we can just move it up
Nah, it's fine. It's
a little bit like that.
It's all easy.
That's
Can you hear
perfect.
me okay now?
Yeah, perfect.
Don't talk to him though when you're right.
Yeah, it's right.
I've had it happen before. Don't worry about that. Any questions? Have you listened to the show?
Yeah.
Great.
Which show is it? Because you do a couple of shows.
I do. This is a small business, big marketing show.
Good.
So audiences, small business owners,
Yeah.
vets and plumbers with lots of keys, right?
Yeah. No, I've actually been listening. I listened to one Jack Gantz recently.
Oh, it's great. The chemist guy.
Coming from a pharmacy background, so
Correct.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's good. That's a good place to start. Are you good, Andy?
Yeah, we're set to go.
All right, Rex. Well, I will have done an intro and explained Orbit Key and all that. Okay, so we're going to get straight into it. So, welcome to the Small Business Big Marketing Show.
Thanks for having me, too.
So, Rex, let's start. I do love a good career progression. Tell us what you and your business partner were doing pre-Orbit Key.
Sure. Well, it was a big jump for us. We, my business partner Charles, he was an industrial designer working at a consultancy, whereas myself, I worked as a pharmacist in a community pharmacy, and I worked there for maybe two to 3 years, and it's completely different. Like, no business background. I've always been interested in business. Yeah.
Interesting. You mentioned him before we went on air about Jack Gantz, an interview I'd done only a few weeks ago, who was the founder of Chemist Warehouse. He too was a pharmacist, but had this entrepreneurial kind of yearning that kind of led him to bringing a whole lot of different brands to Australia before becoming our biggest retailer.
Yeah, I listened to that interview. It was a great interview. I actually worked for Chemist Warehouse.
Oh, there you go.
So there's a lot that I could relate to, and he's a great businessman.
So you and Charles are in unrelated careers. You're mates, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Were you looking for like a business idea, or did Orbit Key just come to you as a problem that you had?
I think it was a bit of both. Like, certainly for Charles, he was the one with the OCD with jingling keys. Like, he used to go jogging and he hated jingling keys.
Love a bit of OCD.
Yeah.
Always leads to an invention.
Well, that's right. Yeah, that's how the best products are made. You kind of design them for yourself.
Yes.
He made a prototype for himself, and he was using that for over a year.
Yeah.
And then he showed it to me one day, and I thought, hey, this is a great idea. And then I remember at the time, I just got a new phone and a new wallet, and I was always really conscious about putting my keys.
A bit of OCD yourself.
I guess you can say that, yeah.
Yeah.
I was really conscious about putting my keys in the same pocket as my phones and wallets. So we started looking at other ways to improve key carrying, and off we went.
So was there a point there where you clearly weren't enjoying pharmacy, and Charles wasn't enjoying his career so much that it was like, this is what we're going to do? Orbit Key, the concept came to you and it's like, this is exciting. This actually looks like something no one else has done.
Yeah, I think it was more, we were both looking, working full-time jobs, and, we were just looking for an opportunity to do something for ourselves. Like we're young, and, we wanted to start something and, grow it into something bigger. And, we started brainstorming different ideas, and Charles showed me this early prototype, and we thought that would maybe other people would like it too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you saw it. What made you think it was a really good idea? Because this kind of area fascinates me. I always say, like, if Steve Jobs had have told people about the iPod, that we could throw away our CDs and albums and have a little white box, we'd go, no way, that's a stupid idea.
Yeah.
He didn't listen to the people. I guess he didn't often do that. Why did you think Orbit Key was a goer?
I guess when we started it, we had no idea that other people would like it too. And when we first started, when we were designing it, in fairness, we weren't designing it for other people. We were designing for ourselves to start with. You know, we thought, hey, like, you know, if no one gets this product, at least, you know, we've got something that we'll love using. You know, we later on in development, you know, we started sharing with other people, and of course, you know, or naturally, our family and friends told us it was good. You know, they're not going to tell us it's not good. But it wasn't until crowdfunding came along, you know, that was a good opportunity for us to really test the market.
Okay, let's talk, because we are here to solve the crowdfunding mystery, or you certainly, for me, that's why you're here. I love the story.
Sure.
Crowdfunding fascinates me. So you decided that crowdfunding was both a way of validating the idea, but also raising funds to bring it to market?
Definitely, yeah. You know, when we spent 9 months developing the product, you know, countless prototypes, and you know, finally we got to a stage where, you know, we had something that we were happy with, but we didn't know how to launch it. And that time, sort of crowdfunding just became, you know, starting to get popular overseas. There was a little bit of exposure in Australia, not a lot.
2013.
Yeah, 2013, early 2013, and you know, we thought, you know, this sounded like a great opportunity. You know, we didn't have to invest, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars into molds and the large minimum order quantities. We could test the idea to see if other people liked it too.
Mm-hmm.
It just made sense for us.
Why did you choose Kickstarter as the platform?
Good question. We actually didn't choose Kickstarter to start with. We went with another platform called Indiegogo.
Mm-hmm.
You know, our campaign was all set up. We were all ready to go, and we heard word that Kickstarter was launching in Australia. They were going to open it up to Australian creators, and we thought, you know, Kickstarter's got a great brand. It's got great following, and we knew they were going to do their own organic marketing as well. And so we wanted to kind of ride on that wave, and we wanted to make sure that the day that Kickstarter was live in Australia, that was the first day we were going to launch our campaign.
Yeah, okay.
And that's what we did.
Well, clearly the numbers prove that it was a huge success for you, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But any regrets not going with Indiegogo up front?
No.
What's the difference between the two? Because then there's also GoFundMe. There's no shortage of crowdfunding platforms.
There's a lot of different platforms, and you know, in fairness, they all have their great points. I guess the biggest difference between Kickstarter and Indiegogo is that Kickstarter has a all or nothing funding model. So you set your minimum funding goal, and if you don't reach it, then
Money goes back.
Yeah, the money goes back to all the backers. Indiegogo have an option where, you know, you can keep the funds even if you don't reach your funding goal.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that the only difference?
No, there's other differences, like Kickstarter. Indiegogo actually launched first, but the Kickstarter probably focuses a little bit more on, I guess, creative side of things. I believe they have a stronger brand.
Mm-hmm. Well, how much do they take out of interest? What's the cut?
Yeah, I think it's around about 4%.
That's okay.
Yeah, 4%, and then you've got your credit card fees, you know, which is 3 to 5%. So
it's pretty good business, isn't it? I mean, 4%. I mean, you made them $1 million or more.
Yes.
And I've seen some extraordinary ones where, you know, they've raised $5, $10, $15 million. So
yes, I
nice,
think
little platform.
That's right. Altogether, I think they've a few $1 billion.
Wow.
Have been raised.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so I really want to break down what makes a highly successful crowdfunding campaign. So I think maybe the best way we do that, because you've done 3 so far, right?
Yes. Yep.
And you're about to do a 4th in November. Yep. So you're learning a fair bit along the way. And as I said at the top of the show in your introduction, I see these gaps, these amazing gaps between someone wanting $10,000 and all of a sudden raising $300, $400, $1 million. It's like, how did that happen? Did you under budget? Was the idea so good? So let's break down what makes a really successful crowdfunding campaign.
Great. Well, that's a big question.
You've got to know.
There's so much to it, like to a great campaign. I guess to start with, you've got the product. It needs to relate to enough people, I guess. You know, your product needs to be kind of people.
Just hold that thought, because we're about to be interrupted by Peter Hitchener from Channel 9. Now, Hitch, welcome. We are in the middle of an interview, but I think this is hilarious because do you have your key ring?
I've got
half my keyring with me
You,
today.
you have minimised your keyring.
I had to.
Listeners, a past guest, Peter Hitchener, has just walked into the studio because I have seen his
And above.
I have seen his keyrings previously. And Hitch, you would normally carry a lot more. I kind
Yes.
of. Where have they all gone?
They're in my office at the moment, sitting quietly on the desk because I'm out to the showgrounds after
Right.
this, the last day of the Royal Melbourne Show, and I thought I'm not going to cart around all those keys with me. However, now I discover there is a different way.
Well,
of doing
you would
things.
normally carry 20, 30 keys. Is that-
Sometimes,
This
yes.
is Rex, by the way.
Hi Rex, good to see you.
And Rex has invented that. Look at that. That is the Orbit key. And
That
it-
is amazing.
And it does expand, doesn't it,
Yes.
Rex, in order to accommodate more
Yes,
keys?
but we try and carry what we need. So,
All right, where do I get one? I'm going to buy one. So it's the
Can
Orbit
you give
key.
him one of those?
yeah, sure.
I'll
There
buy
you
one.
go.
No,
Take
I
it
have
with
to
you.
pay for it, but thank you. No, must pay for it. But thank
Sort
you,
it out,
Rex.
mate.
Oh, that's very good. We'll sort you out.
Thank you so
No
much.
worries.
Good on you, Hitch.
Have a lovely day.
I think we
Cheers.
might have solved a pocket problem for you.
We have.
Good on you.
Thank you.
Have
Bye.
fun.
Peter.
So, Rex, I was asking about
Yeah.
what makes a successful crowdfunding campaign. Many, many components. One point I wanted to pick up on was that you start with a great product, which is, like, I think many people may not do that. They kind of get excited by a particular platform and
Yes.
then they just get it on there, right?
Yeah, I think you need to have a look at what's already out there and see if you can solve a problem to start with. It's a very competitive market. Find a product that is a little bit different from what's out there.
Mhm.
Find a problem and then try and solve that problem.
Okay.
But that's only 1/10 of.
Okay. Well, let's break it down.
Okay,
Let's break
break
the
it
other
down.
9/10 down because I think it is. I mean, like any marketing, sometimes stuff looks so easy. Like, I'll give you my analogy would be Facebook ads, right? Oh, we'll just run some Facebook ads. Bit of pay per click. Just need a picture and a headline, some copy. But no, you need a really good image.
Yes.
You need a really good headline. And, it does take work. I don't want to scare my small business listening audience away from doing these things, but it's important to know that there's components to get right.
That's right. Yeah.
Back to you.
So, once you have the product, you've got to get the campaign ready. So, a typical campaign is you have a video followed by a description of a page, just like any landing page or website. That video is probably the single most important asset of your whole campaign.
Let's talk video.
Yes.
Because, again, I've looked at a lot of crowdfunding campaigns and there are some very, very cool videos there. I think your second video for Orbit Key was particularly good with the Irish guy.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, he was a bit
It was
of a
fun.
character.
It had a little bit of Dollar Shave Club about it.
That's right. Yeah, we try to go down a different vibe for the second campaign. There's no definitely the right way to do a video, but it is important the video. I think you only have about 15 to 20 seconds to capture someone's attention to
Yes.
start with. There's if you don't interest them enough for them to watch the rest of the video, they're going to move on to the next campaign.
Mhm.
Uh,
So you, your first video, would you obviously outsource that, right?
Yeah, like our first video was quite basic. We had a friend of ours that who studied photography, and he had a nice camera, and we invited him to follow around for a day or two, and we shot that video just over a day. Yeah,
You scripted it.
yeah, we did it all ourselves.
Wow. You didn't outsource it.
No. Well, I mean, we did get someone to help, but we wrote it all ourselves and
Okay.
everything, and we didn't have a lot of budget for our first campaign. I mentioned Kickstarter was a great way for us to launch it without spending lots of money, and in fairness, you don't need to pull in the whole production
Okay.
crew to get the video.
But the video is critical. And,
It is
and
critical.
one thing I noticed about good videos on crowdfunding campaigns, I've seen that it includes the founder at some length. Because at the end of the day, you're asking people to give you money for something that doesn't exist, but is the founder's idea. So if the founder looks like a bit of a duffer,
Yeah, you want to try. You want to try and show up in the video somewhere. Just because at the end of the day, you're trying to get a product made. Bring your product to life, and people are putting their money up to make that happen. They want to know who they're supporting. They want to believe in your product and believe in your story, and and the best way to do it is just to show yourself and be vulnerable, let them know, this is what the funding is for.
Your videos were going for about 5 minutes, which,
Yes.
there is a bit of school of thought that goes, that's too long, which sounds ridiculous, but...
I think, our second video was a little bit long. We shot so much content that it was hard to cut out. Our first run was actually 7 minutes, and then we cut it to 5 minutes. But we try to put the most important stuff like at the front, and then if people dropped off, then at least they've got most of the important stuff.
Out of interest, did you have some analytics attached to that video to see where people were dropping off?
Yes. I think half the people didn't finish the video. Like they're halfway. They dropped off the video. Yeah.
Which means either you got them sold, or like
Yes.
these guys are going on for far too long. Okay, so we need a good video.
Yeah.
You then talked about description, so just some copy backing up what you're saying.
So, the copy is essentially just what's on the video, but a bit more detailed form. You want to explain what you're offering, and what are the rewards. So if someone backs your campaign, what are they getting in return?
Yep.
And
Okay, so that's important.
so that's one side of the campaign. So that's about I guess converting someone when they get to your campaign, but that's only half of it. The other side of the campaign, a lot of people make the mistake, is that they create this great campaign, this great video, they click the launch button, and then they expect the backers to just come in and they'll be able to see your campaign. But it doesn't work like that anymore. Like you need to be able to drive your own traffic to the campaign.
Okay, hold that thought, because you just very simply skipped over the idea of rewards. But
Right,
surely, and I've seen crowdfunding campaigns that have one level of reward, which is early release of the product at a discount.
Yes.
And I've seen crowdfunding campaigns. In fact, I think Orbit Key might have had 7, 8, 9 levels of rewards.
Yeah, our reward level is quite complicated, but
Was it? Well, it wasn't too complicated because it worked, but
yes. Well, reward, basically with crowdfunding, people are backing your project. So you want to give them some sort of incentive for backing that project. For us, because we're a product design company, for backing our project, you would get the product and you would get it first before anyone else in the world. And normally at a discount as well. So that's what that's their incentive to want to back the campaign. We try and do things a little bit, add a little bit more sweetener, I guess. Like, so we would, at the start of the campaign, we would have early birds. So, say if we might have set like 100 Orbit keys at a special early bird price.
Uh-huh.
So, just to encourage people to join the campaign early. And one of the reasons for that is the way that these crowdfunding campaign works. The algorithm, like it's the first 24 hours of the campaign
critical.
is so important. Like you need to be able to drive traffic to that campaign in the first day. You need to get backers in the campaign the first day,
Okay.
and then it's got more chance to pick up.
I want to just finish rewards, because clearly marketing is the other side of this coin that you got to drive traffic to.
Yes.
But with your rewards, do you think you did too many? Like, how many did you have? How many levels of rewards?
I think we had about 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
So 10 at the end of your campaign, and again, it was a successful campaign, so we can't knock the fact that you had 10 levels
Yes.
of rewards. But did an 80-20 rule apply, where 80% of your income came from 20% of those?
It did, yeah,
Right.
definitely it did. Like, so we offer different rewards because we have a few different materials at different price points. So we had no way to do it. Like we had to offer different rewards because for all the different products that we're offering.
Okay.
So at the base we had early birds, and then we had a reward for each different style, and then we try to throw in like a few Hail Marys, I guess. Like we had like an insiders pack. So if you back a certain amount of money, you will get access to the next 4 or 5 products before anyone else do.
Uh-huh.
So that's coming up now. Like we've got new products coming out, so those guys will get it first before.
So what was the
everyone
most popular level of reward out of
else.
interest?
It was a leather Orbit key.
Right.
Yeah.
So how does that translate to someone listening wanting to do a crowdfunding campaign? What's your advice on rewards, on coming up with the levels?
Sure. I would say price them. Be really careful about pricing your rewards. Think about what your after crowdfunding, what price there will be, and what sort of discount are you willing to give your backers to incentivize them to join the campaign early. Don't make the mistake of giving too much discount and then getting burnt with shipping expenses later on. And we did that in our first campaign. You want to make sure that it's clear, like the reward that you're offering is
Crystal clear.
Crystal
Don't be
clear,
creative. Don't be clever.
that's right.
Spell it out.
Yeah, exactly. Like right in the description, exactly what it's for. We have a little table in our page that shows you in image form. If you pledge this amount of money, you will get this in return.
Right.
Yeah.
That's in your description for. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Love it. So Rex, we have got a great video. We've got well-written copy for the description. We've got a number of levels of reward. That's the campaign. Are we missing any component of the on-page campaign?
No, I think that it's pretty. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
People hit the button, go, yeah, I'll have that level of reward. Hand their money over to, I guess, Kickstarter at this point in time.
Yes.
Who'll hold the money until the campaign's finished.
Yep.
Okay, but right now, as I could understand it, that campaign that you've just beautifully created is a needle in the Kickstarter haystack.
It is, and more so. Like,
right.
When we launched.
Welcome to marketing.
Yeah, exactly. When we launched our first campaign, it was a lot easier. Like, we could expect organic traffic from Kickstarter, but now not so. Like you will definitely get lost if you don't try and drive your own traffic at the start.
So I imagine there's two levels of marketing a Kickstarter, a crowdfunding campaign. There is the platform you're on. They might feature you. Are there little buttons you can tick like eBay to get a bold listing or a featured listing? Or
no, they're pretty secretive. Like
they hand curate.
Yeah, they do.
Like iTunes.
Yeah.
Oh
Yes.
man, if iTunes, if you're listening, can you just feature the Small Business Big Marketing Show on page 1? That'd be really nice.
That's right. Yeah.
So they're hand curating products that they see. They go, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yep.
Let's put that on our homepage.
Yep.
Did that happen to you?
It didn't happen for us. We try very hard. We try to reach out to them. Like with subtle hints, like ask them feedback about our campaign. But they didn't quite feature us. But in fairness, like in the first campaign, because it had relatively strong traction at the start, it became a popular campaign. So it was they naturally do feature popular campaigns, like higher up and in the searches.
Okay, so when you say it got a lot of traction at the start, the first 24 hours, you got a lot of page visits and a lot of people saying, yeah, I'm in.
Yep.
So then Kickstarter algorithms going, oh, hang on, something going on over the Orbit Key page.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Like the first 24 hours that was really important for us.
So what did you do?
Well, earlier on in the campaign, this is pre-campaign, we're a bit nervous about sharing the campaign. Obviously it's a new concept, a new product. We didn't want we didn't want someone to take our idea, I guess. But we made the decision to share it anyway. So about a few weeks before the campaign, 5-6 weeks before, we try to generate excitement for the campaign. We spoke to as many people as we could, family and friends, asked for their opinion, asked them to their thoughts on the product, because we find that when people when you ask for their opinion and you listen to them and you make implementations based on what they say, they also want you to do well.
Mm-hmm. They got buy-in.
Yeah, that's right. They feel like this is part of their campaign, and this is kind of how the whole crowdfunding works in a way. Like it's about building the community. They want to, yeah, that's right. They want to see your campaign do well, and they join in so this product could come to life. So we shared the campaign before Kickstarter as much as possible, get people involved. We try to we created a Facebook page and a landing page just to get people's attention. Started sharing behind the scenes.
Great.
Little teasers about the product.
Yeah. So you're revealing the product. You're talking about the fact that this is the problem it solves. Here's some prototypes. Here's some people's thoughts on it. Getting some feedback via comments and sharing, and all the time saying, "Hey, listen, on such and such a date, it goes live on Kickstarter, and you can be a part of it." Is that the kind of spirit of what you? Okay.
Yep.
go. I just want to ask at that point, what do you say to people listening? I just spoke to a guy earlier today who's got an idea for a product, doesn't want to tell anyone. He's a bit scared someone will steal it.
Oh, I think you have to tell people, like, you know, you want to get people's opinion, you know, they might be able to help you.
How did you protect yourself legally?
You know what, like, we didn't, you know, we, you know, one of the advice we were given at the start is that, you know, you can go and spend thousands and thousands of dollars on a patent, but, you know, all it takes is a small design change, and then, you know, they can get around it anyway. And even if they do try and copy your product, are you going to be able to protect it? Are you going to have the funds to protect it? So you're far better off just, you know, trying to build a strong brand and a strong following. You know, they might be able to copy some of your products and some of the look, but they're not going to be able to copy your following. They're not going to copy your brand.
Well, I love that. People can copy what we do, but not who we are, is one of the great quotes around branding. There'll be another. I'm sure there's another Orbit Key out there now. Is there a competitor?
Yeah, there's a few. Yeah.
Not as good.
Not as good.
We won't mention who they are. How was your reaction when you saw the first one, the first competition?
Oh, well, I think it started off like the first day. You know, there was a lot of high fives. You know, because we got the Kickstarter app, and it would go off, you know, every few seconds. So, you know, a lot of high fives and excitement. Nice. And then, you know, somewhere during the campaign, we started to get quite nervous because we, you know, all of a sudden we had 5,000 backers that we had to make the product for. You know, it's real now.
Yeah, totally. But did it? My question earlier was like about competition.
Yes.
When did you first see someone trying to compete with Orbit Key?
Oh, you know, when we delayed that campaign from Indiegogo to Kickstarter, there was another key organizer that actually launched during that time.
Wow.
You know, they were really successful, but, you know, that threw us off a little bit, you know, I have to admit, but, you know, we carried on. Like, you know, it wasn't exactly the same product, so, you know, we're happy to keep going, and we thought our product still offered a lot of advantages.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So a bit nervous, but at the end of the day, they're probably building the category of key management systems.
That's right.
Versus competing head-on with Orbit Key. So you've run your first Kickstarter campaign. Great video, great copy, great levels of rewards. Great marketing, building excitement weeks out from the start of the campaign. 24 hours in, you've got a lot of buy-in, you've got a lot of interest, things are going well. 30 days later, is that the campaign?
Yeah, the first campaign.
Now have I got my numbers right here? You had 5,000 backers, you'd raised $210,000, you wanted 10 grand.
Yeah, it was...
Rex!
Yeah.
That's a high five. Give me one now.
There you go. There was a lot of those. Yeah, yeah. It was exciting. Like, you know, we you know.
You're off to the races.
Yeah, we spent 9 months, you know, making this product. You know, we loved it, but we didn't know if other people were going to like it.
Yep.
And you know, we're grateful that people did. And yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't expected. Like, yeah.
Okay, so what did you do? You got your 200. No, well, you got 210 grand less 4%.
So
Ish.
You know. The project was funded. You know, I think we raised about 16,000 on the first day. You know, I joked to Charles and I said, "Hey, you know, like, what would it take for you to quit your job to do this full time?" And he said $200,000, and you know that was still on the first day, and you know we just laughed at it like that's never going to happen. And then at the end of the campaign, sure enough, we reached $200,000, and then. We quit our jobs and we went over to over to China, and we lived there for 3 to 4 months just to get the product made.
Wow. He stood by his word, old Charles.
That's right.
You were out of there. You were out of there at like 15 grand. I'm leaving pharmacy.
No, Charles actually quit before me. Like I think with pharmacy, you know, I was lucky, you know, that I could still do it part time, you know, and you know, keep my registration and, you know, work on the weekend and just, you know.
So you literally did. You got your money and you headed over to China.
Yes.
Did you have contacts in China that you were going to build this thing?
Yeah. So we, you know, before the campaign, you know, we tried to talk to different manufacturers, get an idea of costing. So we did have a few different, you know, connections and warehouses that we were when we went over there, we were going to visit. And yeah, you know, we flew over there. You know, some of those people didn't turn up quite like what they described they were going to be.
You hear some horrific stories. I don't know whether it's urban myth, but I've heard of someone getting something manufactured over in China, the boxes arriving in Australia feeling quite heavy, as you would hope they would with the product in it, but the product inside were bricks.
Right.
You've heard that one?
Yeah, I've heard heaps of those stories.
Right.
You know, it didn't quite happen like that, but you know, some of the people that we were talking to, they definitely weren't quite as big as we'd hoped they would be, and you know, we had to scramble and, you know, start looking for different suppliers and, you know, to find people that we thought.
Do you speak Chinese?
A little bit, not very well.
Charles?
Charles can read. I can talk. So
Okay.
it's.
So between the two of you could get by. Being over there must have been a huge advantage because many obviously don't have that. You two single blokes, you know,
Yeah.
you're off and about and
Yes.
you can do that. So you go over there, you bring it to life, and 4 months later, you've got Orbit Key to market.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, when we first went over, like we didn't plan to stay there for that long. You know, we had we had a return ticket for 3 weeks later.
Was it good that you stayed longer?
You know, we had to. You know, after the campaign, you know, we told our backers that it was going to get delivered in March the following year, and you know, I read a stat recently that, you know, 80% of Kickstarter projects don't get delivered on time.
Wow.
We delivered ours on the last day of March, so we wanted to
You
hit that.
didn't
mark.
want to be in that stat.
We didn't want that campaign to be just it, like the one campaign. You know, we wanted to do follow-up campaigns. You know, we wanted to create a community. So, you know, we felt that we had a responsibility to get that product made.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that when we went over there, you know, it would be one obstacle after another. You know, the mold would break, or, you know, the sample wouldn't come out right,
Mhm.
and yeah, but you know, eventually we got there in the end.
Okay, so version 1.0
Yes.
of Orbit Key is launched in, what are we going to talk? Sort of late 2014. Was that all was that online sales, or was it wholesaling to department stores, or where
Yes.
was the distribution?
So after we, you know, we sent it all to Kickstarter backers, we started to, I guess, go down the traditional route of, you know, any product. You know, we worked off our own e-commerce website. You know, we started working with great stores around Australia, and we started working with distributors overseas as well.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
How do you balance that? Because when you go to we're going to talk of like a Myers or a David Jones, and you say to them, hey, we're also selling online. Do they go, well, no, it's us or them. It's us or you.
No, I think most retailers are quite understanding of that. Like,
Okay.
We haven't had anyone ask for exclusivity in terms of online.
Yeah.
They do ask for exclusivity in terms of areas. Like, you know,
Yes.
you know, no one likes to, you know, stock the same product
Yeah,
as
yeah.
someone just a few doors down.
So did you take it on yourself, Rex, to get distribution?
Yes.
Is that
yeah.
just knocking on doors?
Yes, like, you know, speaking to people and, you know, just finding out other countries, like who in that country would be interested in our product, and who has the network that would be able to, you know, share it with a lot of different stores.
Yeah, okay. So that was just grunt work.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've got a guest coming up, Over the Moo, which is a vegan ice cream. Must taste terrible, but again, you know, they're in Woolworths now.
Yes.
But the first 500 outlets was literally knocking on independent supermarket store and doors of the other individual stores, and it's just grunt work, right? You just got to get out there.
Yeah. We you know, we did trade shows. We went over to New York and did trade shows.
Wow,
We did trade shows in London, and yeah,
was that valuable?
it was expensive, but you know, we built a lot of connections, and you know, from there, you know, it would lead to, you know, you meet one person and you ask them, hey, do you know anyone else, and then it goes from there.
That's amazing. So New York, London trade shows, hoping to get global distribution. Obviously, you weren't going there for Australia.
No, we were going there for, yeah, exactly, yeah.
And what was the biggest win out of going to a trade show in one of the biggest cities in the world?
I think it was just about meeting other distributors. Like, so for example, in Europe, you know, meeting other distributors. You know, we have a great distributor in Scandinavia and Netherlands. We have, you know, a great partner in Ireland. Yeah, just meeting potential people. Like, it doesn't take. It just takes us like that one opportunity to meet someone.
So
that,
true.
You know, and
So
takes
true.
you- Yeah.
So, by the way, listeners, I'm speaking to Rex QO, who is the co-founder of Orbit Key and a crowdfunding genius, as it's proving. Now, we've only got to Orbit Key version 1.0. You then went back into the crowdfunding marketplace in 2016 with version 2.0 with a better product, right?
Yes. Yeah. So we took everything we learned over that 2 years. We had a lot of feedback, good ones as well as bad.
Yes.
And we put it into a second version of our product. And once again we needed to launch it, and we went back to what we knew best, which is Kickstarter.
Yes. Yeah.
And at 2 years is a lot of things happened in 2 years, and it was a whole different landscape. Our first campaign, when you launch the campaign, there's still a chance that people would find it organically.
Mhm.
The second campaign, it was a lot
The
different.
haystack just got a whole lot bigger.
Yes.
And no advantage of being there previously and having success
No doubt.
outside of knowledge.
No, I think you get advantage in terms of that community you've built along the way.
Mhm.
But no, not
Okay.
not particularly.
So, second campaign on Kickstarter, you've got a better product, you've got a better video. It's a really good video. It's quite funny. It's a little bit long, but that was proved. But a lot of fun, and obviously a professional actor of sorts. Did you script that, or you had someone else write it this time?
No, one of the guys on our team wrote it ourselves. Yeah,
It's fantastic.
Yeah,
I mean, so we've got a really lovely idea about it, and some nice humour.
yes.
So great video, less levels this time, reward levels.
No, we still had a lot of products, so we not by choice. We had to have a
Right.
lot of reward.
Okay.
levels, yeah.
Okay. What did you do differently from a marketing point of view? Anything?
Oh, there was a lot that we did differently. Like we learned we learned a lot over the 2 years on different marketing. This time we actually try to build an email database in the lead up to the campaign, and that's probably the number one marketing advice I would give any new anyone interested in crowdfunding campaigns. Like building that initial marketing, that email database is so important.
Why?
Because of that first 24 hours.
Uh-huh.
You needed people to come back to that campaign when you launch, so to make a big splash in the water, so everyone, so you could pick up.
I think email is massively underrated. I mean, do we live in this world of social media? I think we've got to remind ourselves that from a social media point of view, Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn desperately want us to be there, but they don't want to give away too much. They're holding our followers hostage, right, until we give them some money
That's right.
to boost that post. And
Yes.
it's even then, it's like you go from 1% to 3%, and then you just spend more dough. Whereas with your email list, that's assuming it's a clean list. There's 100% attention.
That's right. And I think email it's not just about building an email list as well. It's also about the value of the email, like who you are getting to sign up to that email list. Like you sometimes you could run like a sweepstake competition, and you just get a whole bunch of different emails from random people that are not interested in your product.
Just want to win a prize.
That's right, and that's not valuable.
So how did you build your list?
Landing page to start with. It was we had a 4-week campaign. We started with a landing page. On social media, we would share little teasers and snippets of our product. We would reveal more and more in the lead up to the campaign. We try to cross promote with other brands out there, like-minded brands. Not keychain brands, but maybe like a wallet brand or
Yep. Did you get with Bellroy or any of the big wallet kind of?
We would have liked to, but
Yeah,
we
no
didn't
doubt.
end up working with Valerie.
That would have been cool.
Yes.
Did you tap them on the shoulder?
They were nice enough to offer us some great advice. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Happy days. Okay, so tell me if I've got my numbers right. Campaign 2, version 2.0 of Orbit Key, 14,200 backers,
Yes.
$1,008,000. Well, I can't even say that. $1,008,000, and you exceeded your goal by 3,000%.
Yes. Yeah.
That's ridiculous, Rex.
Yeah.
That's extraordinary.
Yeah.
High fives everywhere.
there was a lot of high fives around the office. That was for sure. And it was supposed to be easier, but it still felt like a lot of work because we at that time we were running our normal distribution, our wholesale, and our online business. But all of a sudden we got this Kickstarter campaign. It's like having double the workload all of a sudden.
Oh, you poor thing. Really sorry to hear that. If you could only do it again,
Yeah.
get less backers, less money. That is a good outcome. So that then allowed you to take the product to another level. But then you did something that I can't quite figure out where this piece fits. You did a second version of the campaign
Yes.
with Indiegogo In Demand, which is their kind of like. Can you explain it?
Well, you know, after after you had finished your your crowdfunding campaign, whether it's 30 or 60 days, you still need the funding stops at that point. But at that point, your product is not ready to be delivered straight away. You still have to get the product made, but at the same time, people are still, they missed out on a campaign. They're still interested in the product. So Indiegogo In Demand is kind of like the halfway sort of transition product between crowdfunding and taking online orders on your website.
Okay.
So that allowed us to continue to take orders.
And Kickstarter didn't have a version of that?
No, they didn't.
And how much more did you raise?
Well, that
That's
was a
all
part of that.
included
Yeah,
in the mill.
that's right.
The lazy mill. So where's Orbit Key today? Wrap some numbers around it for us. Staff, turnover.
So we have a great team. Like there's now 12 of us in the business. We have guys in Australia. We have a guy in New York, and we also have someone in China as well.
Full time?
Yes, so 12 full-time staff. Our products are sold to 140 different countries around the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
How many have you sold?
We've sold just over 200,000 keychains, I guess.
Yeah. They're not keychains, come on. Can't
We
call
like
that.
to say we've converted 200,000 keychains.
What do they retail for?
So depending on the style, it could be $35 to $45. Yeah.
200,000 doesn't seem like a lot, I say with respect.
Mm-hmm.
Are you disappointed by that number, or is it like...
No, we're okay. Like it's we're growing a community, and we've got a great team behind us. So
Yeah.
we're happy. Yeah.
Because you keep under budgeting. What's your budget for the next 12 months? How do you want to sell $1 million, or...
I think in the next 12 months we want to keep selling the same product, but we want to come up with a full range, different products, and that's where the next campaign comes in. I guess.
Your online sales versus retail sales, what's the kind of split?
They're probably our online's probably about 40%.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so we do really strong in wholesale and in distribution.
What do you prefer? Sales or sale?
Yeah, I think it's a sale is a sale. It's different. Like distribution, obviously, is less work for us. Someone else is doing the work, but it's less margins.
Mhm.
Whereas online, you get full margins.
It's a great story, Rex. How do you feel, mate, after leaving pharmacy 4 years ago and embarking on sort of an unknown, half proven on a crowd off the back of one crowdfunding campaign? But how do you feel now?
It's sometimes I wake up and I think, wow, like I still have a lot of friends still doing pharmacy. When we catch up, and it's just I'm not sure how we ended up over here. It's just a complete different direction of how we started, and it feels great.
Well done, buddy. Thanks for sharing, taking us behind the scenes of a crowdfunding campaign, because I've always wondered for so long how that gap, clearly you under budgeted with what your expectations were, but still your raising of those funds, and I think my learning there is that maybe a great starting point is just having a really good product. Yeah. That'd be a good place to start.
Yeah.
And anyone else thinking of crowdfunding, any last bit of advice before we finish up?
I think do the homework. Don't just click launch too quickly. Make sure you build that email list, and speak to people as well. Like there's a lot of information out there on like this podcast, I guess. Like
Hello.
Do the work. Like don't just jump into it straight away. Like do the homework.
Good on you. Thanks, Rex. If someone wants an Orbit Key, where do they go?
Just on the website, orbitkey.com.au.
Brilliant. Well done, buddy.
Thanks, Tim.
Brilliant. That was a long one. How long was that?
43 minutes.
So bye.
Wow.